Alrighty, hello, happy Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? Yeah, I think it is. We're coming out here for Stars and Cards mid-month check-in, and I'm distracted by the fact that just now, going live, I received a notice from Instagram that I may be losing my access to going live soon because they're changing to requiring you to have 1,000 followers in order to get to go live. So this is interesting information to take into our discussion today, because it's definitely been something that's coming up about taking responsibility for how we're showing up and who we are and what we value. So I will be sharing this with my soul sis who's coming on now. So let me bring Moonlight Soul on. And we can check in on July. All the things. So let's see if she's able to join us. Or maybe we'll be told that we don't have enough followers to be seen.
Oh,
Hello.
here we go.
Do you see me?
I can see you.
Yay! Awesome. Well, I was just saying, I'm distracted because this time it let me go live, but guess what it told me? Very soon, I may no longer be able to go live because Instagram is now only letting you go live if you have 1,000 followers or more.
Oh, wow.
So, how do we bring that into this conversation of, a time where we're all looking at taking responsibility for how we're showing up and where we're showing up and what we value and prioritize, and being told that we're not enough or have enough or we have to perform a certain way, all the things. So I'm just kind of getting that news as I came in here to pick
Well,
up on.
very interesting because obviously in the after effects of the Capricorn full moon, we are always also facing our very feel restricted and, taking the responsibility for it. So it's interesting that obviously the Matrix is throwing a curveball saying that, okay, I'm going to restrict you here because I'm the big daddy and I can. So I think this is once again an opportunity for us to spread our wings and fly into the territories where the restrictions is not as severe, however that might show up.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah.
it's so funny because I just made a decision over the weekend
I,
that I was going to start going live on Instagram on Sundays to pull my cards for the week ahead for the collective. And it didn't work out on Sunday. And I was frustrated because I had a plan and I was going to do something a certain way and it didn't work. And, in this world, ridiculous world of likes and follows and all of it, I've had my day of being over 1,000, and then it goes beneath, and then it teeter totters to where I just don't look. If I ever go to my page, I just swipe up because I don't care and I don't want to look at it. But sometimes I'm forced to see that I'm 3 followers below, even though, it's so ridiculous. And it's a system I personally don't want to participate in. I know you don't. So it's just a sense of being very topical right now about all the things, and just trusting that, when we step into our authenticity and we speak our truth, that, we will be guided in terms of, finding the space, and just trusting that what we have to say is going to land where it needs to land, you know?
hmm. Yeah, but also the other aspect is obviously if people see a value in this work, then, more people can follow. So
Well,
you
that's
can.
the other thing, is for people to become more discerning about what they're putting their energy into and what they're following, or if, and how we can support one another. If we, I like to say I'm on the gram, but I'm not of the gram. I get in and get out for the things. And maybe that's the energy that I'm bringing that is kind of, where I have an opportunity to look at how I've shown up and, what I'm doing and all the things. So I think it's just really interesting that that just happened, because last time I lost the live button, it wasn't there. So you had to go live. And now this time it was like popped up, and like I couldn't get on till I acknowledged that I don't have enough. And so I'm going to lose my access, and it's like,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So while we're here, hello to anyone who's coming by today, and or whenever you come upon it, because of course we'll have the replay here. We put it out on YouTube, but this is a follow up to our Stars and Cards episode 39, for the July energies, which, if we do say so ourselves, has been rather spot on as we arrive here today.
Yeah, I can confirm for sure. Yeah, it was textbook astrology meets real life.
And that's what we were just saying in our side conversation before coming on here. Like, I don't remember the last time I've seen such textbook astrology happening. These things are playing out, and boom, here's how it shows up in my life, someone else's life, on the collective, on the world stage. Like, it's just a whole lot right now with all the things that are going on this month, and yet to continue into this back half of the month as well.
Yeah, and like we mentioned in Stars and Cards, the July episode, this is a big month because so many planets are turning retrograde for the first time in Aries for Neptune and Saturn. For Saturn in this century, for Neptune in like, what, 160 years or something crazy like that. And Uranus entered Gemini, obviously, right before the full moon in Capricorn. And we still have Chiron yet to station. So this is all internalized energy, and it forces us to tidy up the inner world before we can see the change in the outer world. And it's interesting how, you know, you and I were talking, and I said that the week is beginning with the moon in Pisces, and this is the final week of Cancer because we'll enter into Leo season next week. We'll have the Leo new moon, and then slowly, surely, we'll be preparing for Stars and Cards August, the 40th
Our
episode.
40th. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like my age.
Yeah, so now it'll all match up with your age and our episodes. But that's awesome because, that's what it's all about. When we tune in ahead of the month and we consult the cards, we bring in the stars, and we talk about what we might expect collectively. And just to kind of recap what came up for us in sort of a beginning, middle, and end of the month, it was the Two of Wands, right? It was the Two of Wands card that was about sort of this planning and looking at where to from here. Are we going to go with the old familiar, like the back of our hand? Are we going to set out in uncharted territory, something new? And then it was like, hold up, Five of Wands, right? What's getting stirred up here and churned up before you can pass go? Because on the other side was the heart chakra, which was opening us up to, stepping more into perhaps greater authenticity, or being called to really go into the heart. And as a matter of fact, this week in our collective card pulls, we did get an oracle message about love where you are. And it was about connecting the heart and the head, and how that's, being called for. So those were the three cards that we had gotten, but we're here now in the Five of Wands, which is in the fray. It's in the chaos and the confusion of the five. We're in transition. We're no longer where we once were. We're not yet where we want to be, for sure. So, what all's coming up? What muck has been stirred up and churned up here with Cancer season and with all these retrograde energies that have us going back over, that we're now looking to cleanse, to clear, to purge, to release, so that we can step into the heart.
Yeah, we have Mercury stationing in 2 days in Leo, which is all about the heart, isn't it? So we're going to learn to attune even more deeply to the authentic voice of our inner self, of our soul. So that's going to be taking us all the way into August, past the Lionsgate and the full moon in Aquarius until August 11th, is Mercury retrograde, which is upcoming, stationing on Thursday night, Friday morning. So yeah, this is where we are. Like you said, you don't have to like it, but you are where you are, so you might as well accept it, and then you can move from here to somewhere else. But yeah, I can feel, as you know, the Five of Wands very personally.
Yeah,
So,
textbook poster child, living it out. And it's funny, we don't have to like it, and yet the card that we pulled this week says love where you are. So that's like, I don't want to. Why would I love that? We're stirring the stuff. But this is something that came up in Stars and Cards when we were like, but the thing, the person, place, thing, aspect that has brought this about, actually did their job, played it to a T. And so we love that, because I'm ready. I want to step into the new. And in order to do that, I have to be free of any of this old, lingering, stuck energy that I may not even realize has been hitching a ride, that now, as we always say, our good friend Lee Harris and the Z's, celebrate. Woohoo! Where'd you come from? from? I didn't know you were down in there, that muck, you know? Like, I thought I cleared all that stuff, this ego stuff, or, you know, fears and lack, or all the things that are coming up, that we celebrate now having the knowledge, the awareness of what's got to get cleared so that we can get ready for all that forward moving, you know, energy. So maybe today we're going to pull some cards to see kind of past, present, future, I guess, just kind of give us that glimpse of where we're at.
I'm curious, and I'll be even more curious about August energy. So if anybody else is curious with me, then definitely tune in. We'll be recording probably in the upcoming week or two, so stay tuned.
Yeah, see what's coming in for August, other than my birthday. No.
And growing the flow birthdays
Growing
too.
the Flow's anniversary, 5 years. Speaking of that 5 energy, we're at this midpoint where no, I'm no longer where I once was, but not yet where I want to be. So it's all there. So it's just, like I said, it's just playing out so precisely, if not excruciatingly sometimes. Again, it's never meant to gloss over that this can be hard. You know, if we're in the muck, we're in the muck, and who wants to spend time there? But it is about, you know, getting free and clear so that we can really step into the new.
And I mean, let's not forget that we have Chiron squaring Sun this entire week. It was already in action for the full moon in Capricorn. I mean, becoming exact this weekend, I believe it is. But yeah, Sun and Chiron square. So there is a lot of wounding that's coming up that is preventing us to step into this unknown. And it means that a lot of aspects of our former identity we've been attached to need to go. And that's also the Sun trine to North Node we had recently, and Jupiter being in Cancer, the whole story of that expansion. So there is so many things that are at the play that literally, I'm sure, are showing up in one way or another in everybody's life. And yeah, we are the poster child for astrology right now.
So let's see what's coming in for where we're coming from with the past. We'll get that out here first. Another chakra card. What are you asking me for? You already know. They're in the third eye energy. So we have this intuition and inner knowing energy. And I'm trying to decide. I used to always say I pull a clarifying card when I get one of those, but I guess we sat with the heart chakra that came up for the end of the month.
Yeah.
What do you get from that, just as the past with the
Well,
third
because
eye?
we had the High Priestess to culminate our July reading. I think this is right on time because it's saying, well, yeah, you coming out from the reading that ended with the High Priestess, which was the same thing, you know? What do you ask me for? You already know, you understand what's going on here, so just get on with it now. So I think we know where we came from. We want to know, like, okay, what now? Where are we going with this?
Yeah, we keep looking back and expecting, you know, and it's but in fairness to us, all of us, we are in these retrogrades. So we are getting stopped and slowed down, and we're being made to go back over. So it's like, yeah, I want to move on too, but but being in flow with the universe right now, there's some specific areas that we're being asked to sort of review and look over. So, but I love that. Yeah, like you already know. What are you talking about the past? Let's see what's in the here and now. And you don't need a clarifying card. We already
No,
did that.
we already got through it.
Got the t-shirt, the whole thing. Did it. All right. So what's going on here and now in the present? Let's see. I forgot that the chakra cards were in here. Sometimes I pull them out just because this is one of our soul decks, but it's sort of like an oracle tarot. So it does include the 7 chakras and does not include the 10s or the court cards of the tarot. So let's just see. Yeah. This is going to be Justice coming in here as detached. And a little fun fact, Justice is on the altar this week for the collective. It came up as Wednesday's midweek blessing, but it also came up last week as the potential blocker challenge. So in the here and now, Justice and karmic balancing, and and I just want to show, because the card for Justice in the Astral Mermaid Tarot is pretty spectacular. It gives us that visual of weighing the heart to a feather in terms of what we're carrying. And when we know that we're moving toward the heart chakra at the end of this month and into Leo season, that wanting it to be light as a feather, free of everything that we've been carrying. So again, there's this sense of opening up and detaching and I love the dove in peace, but also we also have the Wheel of Fortune this week, and this energy of what she's stepping out of, which is like this winterscape into the new season, is also speaking to me in terms of the wheel turning and where we're heading now, as a humanity. And then, of course, in each of our microcosms, this energy of justice, and in this case, detachment.
Yeah, it's interesting because like as soon as I saw this depiction of Justice card, what came to me is the card that I know you pulled for me with regards to my own situation, which is the Four of Swords. And I told you that that's how I feel, that the jury rests. Now the jury rests, that the case is out, it's been like all the, parties had their say, and now the jury rests. So that's kind of the first thought that came to me when this card, because she's letting the dove go, like the peace. Now give it to God, give it to universe, because whatever had to play out already played out, and now you have to allow things to unfold on their own, for the justice, like the clearing of the karma, the balancing, the neutralizing. We were being shown where is the crisis, we were being shown where is the imbalance, but now you have to let it go, because the only person that you can control or influence in this situation is really yourself. So with regards to anybody external, which is the Libra, the justice, the representation of Libra as an archetype in astrology, especially evolutionary astrology, it is the external world, not just your partner, not just your husband. That's all part of it, but it's the other, which is not you, which is the external world, the reality you are experiencing. So this is really what this card symbolizes for me, and also because it's depicting winter, which is the time of resting for the nature. So for me, straight away, I was like, oh, this is very much Four of Swords right now.
Yeah. And I feel that when you said that to me earlier, I thought the same when you say like the defense rests, the jury's, there's this sense of, okay, it's all been brought out. It's all coming up now. All the muck, all the stuff that we're talking about is out. And once it's out, now we have this opportunity to restore potentially justice in the sense of karmic balancing, or understanding more of the roles that we've played and all the things. And so, when we put it in those terms of a rest, it's different than replaying the past. Retrograde can give us all the rest and the rehabilitation and the reassessment and all that, going back over things, but not in replication, but
Exactly.
right? So we keep getting this and we're repeating these messages, but it's because, again, and we've said this too, of the universe being this sort of generous teacher in all of the opportunities and the slow pace sometimes that we get to go over things to learn again, if they weren't fully integrated, or there's some other aspect that still hasn't been reconciled coming up.
Yeah, and what I want to say about the retrogrades, because like you said, rightly so, it's all the we reevaluate, reimagine, whatever. And, we don't have to go into details what each of the planets currently retrograde means. However, the main thing for people to understand with retrograde planets is that it gains like a energy of individuation. So it's kind of like, it's not exactly like Aquarius and Uranus, but something in that way, that the sign, when goes internal, it is to help you to individuate. So that's exactly what you said. Here we go over the re's to break the pattern, which is the Aquarian frequency. You break the pattern. So you going to revisit these situations, you go and rethink these contracts, whatever, look at the small print, whatever it is, to break that pattern, to not recreate the same situation again. But if necessary, we will, and then we go over it again in the future. And because we know healing happens in layers, growth happens in stages. Nothing is just like one straight line and we're done, right? So yeah, so retrograde planet, very important for people to understand with retrograde planet, is that it's helping you to individuate and break the old pattern. And, whichever sign, whatever house, whatever, planet, it just shows you the details. But the point is break the patterns of the past so you don't keep recreating it by revisiting them.
Right. And we have 4 this month, 3 planets, Chiron, asteroid Chiron. So this is, again, 4, bringing us back into the foundation, bringing us back into creating greater stability, all the connections. I mean, it's wild because the cards have been speaking for weeks with that. I mean, we ended last week with the Emperor, and then we had Saturn move into Aries, and now it's just, there's just been so much. So wow, so that's major. That's a significant energy, major arcana. So we pay attention on our fool's journey. And so on the other side of that, in the future, where we're headed, what we want to know, what's coming up, what can we know about that? Let's see. Ah, more 5. Change your focus. Yeah. I mean, 5 of cups, right? This is it. This is all the stuff that's spilled. This is all the stuff that's left or leaving. It's draining, it's circling the drain. And when we're hyper focused on those things in a very emotional way, that's where we're getting this guidance. Change your focus and see it as potentially a great liberator, you know, that something has spilled or something never was, because it's helping to redirect you to something that is more aligned for you now. It may be that you really wanted something that you never got, or that didn't work out, or what. But in the of reassessing all of that, do I really still want all of those things? As I'm being asked to take responsibility for, you know, am I putting in the work, the responsibility, the determination of, you know, whatever it is I say that I want, whatever I say my dreams are, am I practically showing up? And then more importantly, do I even want that? Does that even make sense for me now? You know, that's definitely been a big piece of it. So I think, and of course, with a sort of like, as the waters recede and you see what all has been washed up onto the shore, we have this 5 of cups coming in, which can be bittersweet, can be melancholy, there can be mourning, there can be loss, and let that flow, so that, you know, you can change your focus and put your energy into something for your future.
Yeah, and I feel this is perfectly the perfect continuation to the Justice card, because, like we said, you know, it's all out. You know, the jury is resting, so it's like, okay, it's not up to you to fix the world. It's not up to you to change the other person. It's not up to you to learn their lessons or spare them from, you know, learning their lessons or whatever's going on with the, you know, with the external, with the other. So with the change of focus, you know, because it is the 5 of Cups, which it's the midpoint to the 10 of Cups, right? Which is where you want to go, what you want to achieve, you know, that emotional abundance and stuff, you know, the dreams come true. So this is the point, like, okay, you know, with everything you've gone through and everything you still have to go through, you know, the six of Cups, 7, 8, you know, until you get to the 9 and 10, you know, like, yes, we have to focus on not just what is spilled, but where do we want to go from here? Because there is a reason for why things got spilled, you know. Like, I also, just a fun fact that I always say, that when I start spilling water, I need to cry. I need to release something, you know, I need to let something go, because there is a pent up energy that needs releasing, which is again connected to that Justice card we just pulled. But also with the 6 of Cups that follows is the nostalgia of the past, you know, reevaluate. Like, just like what you were saying, is this still what I want? Does it still hold a meaning? I mean, it is a Scorpio part of the Cups, which is all about the transformation. You know, like, what am I metamorphizing into? Because I'm not yet who I was, just like you said, but I'm not yet where I want to be. You know, I'm no longer who I was, not yet where I want to be, who I want to be. So it's a midpoint, and we know from all the 5s, no matter which suit you choose, it is always a challenge. But we know, just the same way in astrology, evolutionary or any, the square is the challenge, but that's what helps you grow. So I feel that all these situations that many of us might be experiencing, especially as we are nearing the end of Cancer season, so the Cancer season is starting to show up in the bigger picture, like, okay, now I understand the Cancer season. You know, I'm not at the beginning of it, you know, we are not in the middle of it, or the sun is entering the final decan soon. Well, actually, at the moment, it's still in the second decan. So we starting to understand what this Cancer season was about. You know, all these emotions that get amplified with Jupiter now being in Cancer, and we can all make a choice. Where do we want to go from here?
Yeah. And allow yourself to be empowered with that, because, you know, looking at how this is coming forward for us now, in where we're coming from, is inner knowing. You know, our intuition is speaking, and in this conversation about connecting head and heart, in the center of that is that awareness and that inner knowing that and I'm thinking again how you gave us that beautiful contrast when we got the Five of Wands for the here and now when we met in Stars and Cards, and you said, you know, the four to the six, and what's in the middle is the five. Likewise with the cups, you know, with the emotions, with the feels, is from the Four of Cups, where, you know, in that sense of the things that are bringing us to a place of just blah, you know, boredom, apathy, disenchantment with what we see in front of us, that we may be missing something, or there's something there for us to. And so this is where in these retrogrades we're sitting in that, we're resting in that, because yes, it comes into our awareness then that actually I'm not happy with something, or there is a loss that I'm mourning on some level, or that I'm moving through some lower vibrational emotions that need to be purged, so that I can arrive at that six, which is that balance and healing and harmony in relationship. And in the case of the cups, you know, as we're being guided here, that Six of Cups does still have us reflecting nostalgia, you know, looking back in terms of maybe through that fresh lens, that inner knowing now, the wise, what you've gleaned through having gone around again and again through these things, through the detachment, through taking the time to sit with reconciling all of that with those scales of justice, that now you can see those past experiences through a new lens that is helping you to truly heal and to step forward from that into, again, it feels very like liberation is a word that's coming for me in terms of, you know, what all of this could be serving for right now.
And it's also, I feel connected to what you were saying about the feather light, you know, like shedding. I know you and I talked about it, that we know a lot of people, including ourselves, that feels we need to get rid of stuff, including these old emotions, old contracts, old behavior patterns, these old things that are just so heavy and dense to be dragged around, you know, these unresolved relational dynamics, whatever it is. So I really feel, you know, with the Five of Cups, not a favorite card. You know, like I said, all the fives are kind of like, you know, bad, move
Yeah.
on, you know, but they are necessary because they are the midpoint, you know, whether you're talking about the wands and the swords, which, like, you know, are not perceived very positively, Ten of Swords and Ten of Wands, but it's the end of something, you know, your burden, you know, this way of thinking, whatever. It's like, okay, bam, you're dead, you know, but you're not really dead. It's just the way of being, that ego pattern has died. And then on the other side, the Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Cups, which are seen as very auspicious cards, right? But either way, we have to go through the five, the midpoint, to get wherever we're going, you know, whatever it is. It's just like we were saying in the July Stars and Cards, it is guaranteed. It is guaranteed that we'll go through these difficulties in life. It is guaranteed that we will have challenges. It is guaranteed we'll have some painful experiences in life, because at the end of the day, we have to go through all of it, the good, bad, ugly, all of it. But how long we stay trapped in the energy and, you know, suffer through it, that is our choice. So this is why I feel like these energies that we are experiencing individually and collectively are really teaching us how to handle this situation in this new way, that doesn't, we don't pack up more karma. That, okay, here is karma, I'm trying to resolve it, I'm trying to neutralize, so I need to respond in a different way so I don't turn it into new karma, you know, then I don't have to drag with me and then have to resolve that some other time, you know, point in this lifetime or next lifetime, or whoever my ancestors, you know, reborn into my future generations will have to deal with it. So that's what I mean, is this all like the five, the chaos agent, the disruptor, is bringing this opportunity to change the dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah. It's stirring it up. And we have to stir it in order, you know, it's like stir, stir. And yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, it's so on point, you know, whether we like it or not. We're here. So being here now and love where you are, right? That was the part of the message that came up this week for the collective, is about using it, use it, you know, and, you know, allow it to help you. And, you know, we also got the blossoming card, right? To speak to the lunations this month. And, you know, we often talk about those old things becoming the fertilizer.
Yeah.
So as we turn things over and fertilize this new ground that we're wanting to build on, we can use it. Take the best and leave the rest. Extract from it. So, you know, if I put my focus there, then I'm not sulking and really sitting in. And again, it's not to gloss over truly taking the time to properly process and mourn and move through, those types of emotions, but, and, also being able to utilize them in a way that, as it's called for. And if we're more in a resting state right now, or in a more of a state of just kind of pause and reassessing, be there too, because this too shall pass. And then just like we know that, the best days pass by, and once again, so, when you're in those moments, enjoy and celebrate and cherish and, all the things. And then when you're not, use where you are to help you to restore greater states of equilibrium.
Yeah, and also what we were discussing in July, stars and cars, this is the kind of final week of this quietness, because we had a very quiet Cancer season. I mean, apart from these crazy transformative energies, but I mean, aspect wise, we know in previous months, sometimes we had like 5 aspects in one day, and now we have like nothing.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel like the Four of Swords very strongly, like, just take your time with this. Just take your time to integrate, feel your feels, because Leo season is coming with its drama. So,
With its
feel
drama and its fire and the heat and and its ego and all of it that we
but
see
also
playing out.
playfulness and your new sense
Yes,
of purpose.
absolutely. So again, extract from it the best, and balance the rest. Let's say that. I love it. So let's bring in our oracle card. You chose for us Oracle the 7 energies. I'm loving the 7 here in the 7th month, and that energy's been coming up a lot. We have 2 sevens this week as well on the collective messages. So it's interesting. That's definitely been playing up. So let's see.
And 7 is a spiritual number of like a higher learning, right? It's a
Yeah.
very spiritual number.
Mystical and spiritual, and we got the 7 of Wands and the 7 of Cups. So it was like bringing the fire and the creativity and the spark to the choices, but also, and I know we didn't talk much about Neptune, but between all of the water events and things that have been happening on the planet, and I'm seeing both ends of the spectrum, like, horrendous flooding for sure, in my parts of the world. And then there's areas of the world that are having a drought, and these extremes. But also, Neptune retrograde, I'm thinking of, is people are having dreams, crazy. I've been hearing a lot. Myself, friends of mine have been talking about dreams and dream states and things too. So that 7 of Cups this week was speaking to me around the choose wisely and the choices, and making those choices without perhaps having extreme clarity on what it is that we're getting into. So that's always gives me the 7 energy as well. So just feeling that all around. Let's see. This is a deck that shuffles like butter. My friend and I always say it shuffles like butter. It's so smooth. So let's see, just one. I feel a couple jumping out. One card. There we go. Ah! It's a perfect culmination. It's card 7, and it's a deep breath. So 4 of Swords meeting the 7 energy come together in this card of taking a deep breath and bringing in that frequency of 7. So let me see, because this deck is pretty cool. It's going to tie us into a particular chakra, and then also, bring forward the message. So let me just see where we're at. I'm assuming that we are, oh, this is actually in the root chakra. This is energy center 1. So this is an energy that's going to speak to money, family, inherited traits, survival, primitive instincts, security, stability, and the material world. Oh, it's so light. Can't see the details anyway. There you go. All right, so we're talking about our message of take a deep breath. Okay, so this is speaking to, okay, a genuine expectation of danger and projection of a threat without substance, fight or flight mode, inability to focus, trusting in the universe as a way to release fear. Okay, so this is talking about, fears that are vying for your attention right now, that are playing up using emotion, let's say that, thinking about, and I feel like these are incredibly connected with change your focus, right? And the water element of the cups, that fear is asking for your attention and healing right now. So again, let that be the thing that is helping you, right? The thing that's bringing the fear or the worry and the concern is actually the facilitating the healing. So you or another are operating from the position of fear. If you also see red flags, you might be headed toward genuine danger, perhaps repeating a lesson you don't need to learn again. You can honor this kind of fear by saying, thank you, and protect yourself by choosing another path. So in this moment, you have all it takes to make this shift. But now on the other hand, so that yes, there's real fear, there's real cause for danger and red flags and all that's addressing. But it's also speaking to, if there's fear surrounding the idea of taking a risk, be mindful and have radical trust and acceptance in the discomfort of the new. And that's being called for now as you're moving out of your comfort zone. This is the 5. This is the trek from the 5 and really endeavoring to transcend that, to move beyond it. So ask for courage and take a leap into the unknown and know that all will be well. Now it's saying that, as we said, stories from the past may be molding your expectations right now and causing fear-based anticipated hurts. Don't isolate yourself or fall for the false idea that life is too painful and engaging with it should be avoided. Yeah. So it's really talking about choosing love over fear, and you'll be amazed when you do. Yes. That's really perfect. No matter where you are in the spectrum of, what's going on right now all over the place and individually, it reminds us just to take a breath and take inventory and get clear on, genuine fear versus, this perception that we're perhaps in many cases being served, and whether or not that's something that we're going to continue to consume or not, and make new choices and anchor ourselves into love.
Yeah, and I really feel that this is yet another learning opportunity, because just like based on my own personal experience, I can feel like the longer I am in that situation of that stirred poop and keep stirring the same pot, I just feel like how, it is getting more and more difficult to get out of it. But that's like, this is just a passing cloud in my life. Just like I'm sure many things people are experiencing, this also shall pass, just like everything else. So I really feel this is part of the boot camp we are experiencing this year, which the life will always throw curveballs, sometimes things from the past, sometimes things you can't control, whatever. So I feel it's part of that process of becoming resilient, having the discipline and focus, just like she said, like change your focus, like focus somewhere different, and like being able to accept, and like you said, love, you don't have to like it, but accept it for what it is, the unconditional love, which is the acceptance without judgment. Technically, unconditional love is not the Hallmark cards, it's the acceptance without judgment. The universe loves us all unconditionally. It doesn't matter if you must murder, if you are a priest, it's unconditional love. It is what it is. Accept what is for what it is, and that's it. So that's what I feel, that all of these nuances and details, how this energy is playing out in our life, it's a curveball that is preparing us for something else. Like, okay, well, these are not, in many cases, it's not life and death. It could be for some people. I'm not diminishing situation or making them smaller than they are. But in many cases, especially with the 5 of Wands, it's just petty stuff. Like ego clashings and stuff, because again, it's the, 5 of Wands is the Leo card, obviously. So, yeah, so that's what I mean. They are teaching us about what really matters, teaching us, it's like with universe, and because this reality we are experiencing is inverted, with universe is also a little bit like that. It's a little bit like upside down. If you came here to do great things, be spiritual teacher, you're usually going to be born in a dump with traumatic upbringing and stuff. And like, how is this going to prepare me? Well, exactly. That's how you're going to get prepared. So that's what I feel, this whatever we are being prepped for as a humanity, these small situations, this is just small lessons, but it helps to build that resilience and the discipline of focus, and like the take your breath, take control of your body, mind, and the spirit is obviously always in charge. So I feel this is we look at it from our myopic perspective, it looks huge. Just like I remember you used that analogy that, you know, everything looks very different when you look through, I don't know exactly, I don't remember what analogy you used, but you said it looks very different when you look from like close by or far or something. So
Hmm.
it's like that. Like at the moment, all these situations look very different to what they really are. So don't get lost in it for long.
Yeah. And detach what you were just saying, detach with love, with peace, because it's all sorting itself out, you know. And I think that's a big thing too about the justice of it all. That's not fair. That's not fair. You know, this perception that we have about what's right, what's wrong, black, white, fair, you know, all of that, that's all coming up in the muck. And there's a much wider perspective to be seen than what we're seeing down in this, from this vantage point, which is what this is saying, is change your focus and take a breath, detach, you know, and anchor into love and peace, and really perpetuate and practice within your own right, you know, fostering that in your life and putting your energy into that, so that, and this is the root chakra, which I was surprised at first. I was going to say it must be the throat chakra or something with the lung, you know, breathing, and it's the base, it's the basics, it's the safety, security, it's facing those fears, and you know, all of it. And I was going to say I didn't know what flower that was on the bottom, if it is one that grows in the muck, but most
Lotus.
likely is, whether it's a lily or a lotus or what. But there's a sense of, again, this is the fertilizer. You know, we're in this period of preparing these fields for the new harvest, you know, what's going to be blossoming and coming into fruition. So, you know, as we're moving into this back half of July, and, you know, as we're checking in here midway, we know that we have coming up, you know, Leo season, the Leo new moon, and maybe, you know, that's giving us some flavor too for what to expect in terms of where to set our focus and our sights as we work with those energies to begin, you know, seeding what's coming in then in Leo season in August, in episode 40 when we get back together again.
You know what I think is very funny, because obviously, I don't know obviously if everybody sees it that way, but when I look at the screen, when you leave the cards, they go back to front, you know, like, so the last card is first card on the screen. So
Ah,
I feel that's so funny, because universe is always so funny, and I just said that everything like seems like
inverted.
inverted, and it's the other way around, you know, it's back to front. So it's like that, you know, like it says like, oh yeah, but you start with the breath, you start with handling the crisis, handling the muck. That's how you grow, you know, da da da. And then the 5 cups, you know, of course that thing's gonna go to shit, you know, down the drain, the spilled milk. And then yeah, but don't worry, eventually it's gonna all get a balance, because you know karma always finds a way to balance itself. And then you know it's all about this connection, the third eye, that have a higher perspective, the higher vision, the higher understanding, the higher mind. So I think it's so funny, because we started from the past, working it up to the, you know, future and present, whatever. But actually, the way it works up is usually the other way.
That's so funny. And also the fact that all we do is move a couple pieces around and we change it. So I think too is reminding how powerful we are, and our ability to create using our thoughts and our intentions, and through breath, you know, whichever order these come up in, these two things, you know, we could just, do you ever see those like it'll be like a piece of writing where first you read it from the top down, and then you read it from the bottom up, and it still makes sense, it's still a story, but it flips the story. It's like sometimes you see them going around, but it's this idea that whether you read it from left to right or right to left or bottom to top, whatever, it just flips it. And that reminds you that what you're seeing and how you're seeing it is not all there is. It's just one perspective in infinite perspectives. So, in any given moment, if you don't like what you see and you don't like what you're experiencing, allow yourself to step back and take that breather, and allow yourself to envision what else is possible. What am I not seeing? What how else could this be done? And begin to put your energy in that. And that's really where we start to get some traction with manifesting something completely new.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you know, like it starts with the breath and it ends with the breath, you know, like we all came from the same place, we all return to the same place. So yeah, like you said, back to front, front to back, it doesn't matter. You will
Yeah.
still, you will still going where you meant to go. So don't worry about it. The details are up to you, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So wow, it's pretty cool because it just kind of flows really well with everything that's come up. And if nothing else, I always say that too, like to say that the energies are so textbook and everything's happening, it's like, well, at least I know I'm in the right place, whether I like it or not. If I'm feeling this way and that's what's on tap, then okay, I got the memo. I'm here. I'm showing up. So be
Mm.
here now and work on the next part, which is saying love where you are. Even if I don't ever want to go back there, be here now and love, extract from it love in the sense of, seeing it from that greater sense of detachment, peace, love, and envisioning something more than what meets the eye. Yeah.
Yeah, it is all just a great mystery.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, it's a quiet day. We knew we're navigating time differences, and for you, it's time past your dinner time, and so I know that a lot of people may not be around this side to catch this live. So, if you're catching it on the replay, thank you, and hopefully we'll be able to come back next month. I don't know. We might not be allowed to go live anymore. We'll have
So
to see about that. like our pages, follow. If we can push it over. No, we'll see where it goes from here, but I have no doubt we'll be where we need to be. So I know that next we're going to be recording episode 40 of Stars and Cards for August. So everybody keep your eyes peeled for that. We'll share that here and of course on our YouTube channels and see what's coming up next.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I personally want to know.
Yeah, I know. We might have to set the calendar now for when we're going to meet so we can get into it. All right, sounds good. Well, I guess we can leave it at that, and we will catch up on the other side very soon. So thank you once again.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching and stay tuned for Stars and Cards episode 40 coming up soon.
All right, talk
Bye
soon.
everyone.
Bye.